Hello, I'm Bruce Lorenz, and this show's called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people in city government, the school system, and stores and businesses in Wadsworth. We have two very interesting guests today, Ayden Usinski and also Ian Tanko. And they're young people who went down to North Carolina and helped out with the devastating flood that happened there. I know a little bit about North Carolina. My daughter Lauren went to Elon University, but I think a little bit north from where they were. Ayden, what prompted you to make that decision?
Well, I started seeing a lot of things on social media about like all the damage that had happened and how bad it actually was. And we had actually had a camping trip planned that weekend, and we were just going to go spend the weekend in the woods anyway. So we were like, let's go help some people, and we decided last minute to change our trip down to North Carolina.
And what were your expectations and the reality that hit you?
Yeah, we didn't really know what we were walking into, and we didn't actually know where we were going until a couple hours out from North Carolina. But seeing the videos on social media doesn't do it any justice. I mean, just everywhere we were driving through there, like just everything was destroyed. Houses gone, cars and trees, and semi-trucks and like ravines. It was just, you can't see what it actually is like.
How did the Wadsworth community come through and donate items for you to take down?
Yeah, so I put out word a week before we left that I would like to collect donations to help bring some stuff down there as well, along with us. And the community came together insanely and way more than I expected. We ended up filling 2 trucks of supplies, and the whole studio was full of stuff before we left. So much more than we had ever expected.
What did the city do to help your trip down to North Carolina?
Yeah, so we were actually supposed to take your Subaru.
Yep.
Subaru.
Just a little Subaru SUV, and it wasn't going to cut it anymore. We got too much stuff, and we were like, this isn't going to work. So we thought possibly renting a U-Haul, and then the city ended up giving us a truck to take down, which we were extremely grateful for.
Ian, why did you go to North Carolina? I think you then had to rearrange your job situation and go down. Was that okay? And why did you decide to do that?
Yeah, so my job was very generous. I put my time off a little late, but they were still generous enough to give me the time off. And a lot of what Ayden said is the same for me. I was just seeing stuff around. Ayden actually sent me some videos over text, and I was looking at those, and I jokingly said, like, wouldn't it be cool to go down there? Not expecting to actually go down there, and it just kind of took off into this huge thing we took part of.
Right. A lot of people in the media would have had us believe that the most damage was in Florida, but because of storm surge, the Carolinas, Georgia had devastating damage, didn't they?
Yeah, so I guess it actually went through about 6 states. I know we saw flooding driving down. Virginia. Yeah, Virginia, we started seeing flooding and FEMA walking around. But yeah, Florida was definitely hit very hard. But same goes for all the other states.
You talked about FEMA. Tell us about what you saw on the ground. How did they, who contacted you and directed you to give the items that you took down?
So in the area we were at, FEMA wasn't able to reach there quite yet. They were still in larger cities like Asheville, but there was lots of National Guard down there. That's what we saw the most of, and then there were other volunteer groups like Samaritan's Purse who were down there.
Cajun Navy.
Yeah, Cajun Navy was down there.
Yeah.
All those groups, they kind of worked together to get us to where we needed to be.
Where precisely did you go? I think we might have an item there. Again, my daughter went to Elon, which was north, and you were down kind of in the southern part of North Carolina, right?
Yeah, we started off in Burnsville.
I think there's a picture of the map. Burnsville, you say?
Yeah, that's that middle circle there.
Okay.
That's where we started off.
Okay.
That's where we were able to drop off our supplies. And we ended up staying at this volunteer fire station down there, West Yancey Volunteer Fire Station. And they had a huge operation running there. And then that was like our HQ. From there, we branched out to other different counties and cities.
Ayden, could you begin to describe the damage? You mentioned houses and flooding, and it's going to be quite a while for those residents to get back on their feet, don't you think?
Oh, it's going to take years. I mean, we were talking to locals while we were doing some wellness checks in Pensacola, and they were estimated not having power for up to a month. Some people were 3 to 6 months, and then some people up to a year of not having power. I mean, everywhere we were driving, the power lines are down and half the roads are gone. So getting crews up there, you got to fix the roads first, you got to fix the ground first, and then you can start putting power back up. But yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure bridges were washed out and roads that were there, part of it was washed away, and you know, you saw pictures of big semis taken and houses moved, and the streams were just, I mean, there's no way you could get across.
No,
I mean, they were just raging.
Completely. I mean, what used to be maybe a 50-foot little creek was now a 100-yard wide raging river with boulders and, I mean, trees down everywhere.
There's some more.
Those are some landslides. This was a road we drove down, which was really sketchy, but half the road was gone. What used to just be, I mean, a small creek river there. Yeah.
How did the people respond when they knew you were there to help? What did they comment to you, and what did they say? And I'm sure they were quite appreciative.
Yeah, actually, everybody was insanely nice, super nice. We spent some time going from fire station to fire station, asking where they might need help and volunteers, as we were looking to do whatever they needed. And everyone, they couldn't really help us that much at some places, but they're like, we really thank you for helping out and wanting to help out. But everyone was super appreciative.
You talked a little bit about staying at night. Did you stay at the same location?
Yeah.
And how many days were you there?
We were there, let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days.
Wow.
4 nights, I think. But yeah, and it wasn't just us. When we were at that volunteer fire station, I mean, Saturday night there was probably over a dozen other people camping out there as well, and they were all volunteers there helping. Some guys next to us were from New York. They were there helping trim down trees and stuff. There was an EMS guy next to us. All sorts of different backgrounds.
Ian, there was all sorts of work to do. What were some of the things that you and your friend Ayden were involved in?
We did a whole lot of shoveling. Some of the buildings we were in, you could see where the water level was. It's up to your neck, sometimes above your head.
Unbelievable. That's why people got up on the roofs, right?
Yep.
Because they tried to escape second floor, and then it kept coming, and on the roof. A lot of people got rescued from the roofs.
Yeah, and when that water goes down, it leaves all that muck at the bottom, and we had probably about a foot and a half worth of mud that we were shoveling through at this one location at a oil distributor.
Yeah, that's the basement we were shoveling out. And it didn't dry out at all, so it was just straight water.
I mean, when you were there for those days, did the weather kind of clear up? And was it sunny, or did it rain again and cause more difficulties?
It was, weather-wise, it was beautiful. I mean, sunny skies pretty much all day, every day. And then it did thunderstorm one night there, and actually we were talking with locals, and they were worried because that was the first rain they had gotten since the actual storm. So they were worried that there would be other landslides from just unstable ground coming again, and it might do more damage.
Ian, what did you learn from your experience? People, I when I was principal of Black River, the Amish would raise barns together. Everyone, all the men would get together. The women would prepare lunch, and they worked from sunrise to sunset to get that barn done. Kind of like you guys.
Yeah, you saw a lot of that. All the communities coming together, trying to do their part. A lot of these people, they didn't know each other. They were just doing what they could to help out. I know at that oil place we were working at, we just showed up, we walked up. First we went to the town hall, asked where we could go. we walked up to these guys and we're like, hey, got some extra shovels? Let's give you guys a hand. And just strangers coming together, helping out. I did learn, though, that be grateful for what you have, because in a second it can all be gone. A lot of these people, they have nothing anymore. They have whatever they had, the clothes on their back, that's all they have now.
And unfortunately, a lot of people, the flood insurance is so expensive, especially in Florida. I have two brothers live there, and they tell me that it's really astronomical to even begin. And a lot of companies have left Florida because of the hurricanes and damage and destruction there. You know, sometimes we need sometime a little check to let people know that it's really not so bad in Ohio. We don't have a lot of difficult weather, do we?
No, it just gets cold here, and I would take cold over my house getting washed away any day.
No question about it. Ian, can you talk again about, were you surprised that you had that many goods and items to take? I mean, you know, Ayden left, and there were people still bringing things in, and you know, you gotta commend Wadsworth to try to do what they could to help out those people.
Yeah, Wadsworth did a great job of donating, giving what they could, and I got to give credit to Ayden too. I had no idea the kind of stuff we were gonna be getting. Originally, I just thought we were gonna go down there and just help out. And he's like, let me send out a Facebook post. We'll see what we can get. And I was like, all right. But the turnout was amazing. I never thought we were going to get that much stuff. Pleasantly shocked.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Ayden, you're kind of an example to other young people. Did that cross your mind at all, that we could also have issues, and we get upset if our power's out for 5 minutes in town. They really restore things very, very quickly here, and I got to give the city, I tip my hat to all their services. It's just tremendous here. But can young people do more things and help out when time allows?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you should do the most you can for other people and put other people first. Going down there it wasn't planned, it was just a spontaneous decision. We were like, let's go see how we can help. And I mean, it was just two of us, but I feel like we did as much as we could, and the help with the community too. I think it actually wasn't just the two of us, it was us and the whole community of Wadsworth, because we wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
There's a certain book says you reap what you sow, and you think that you might be in need one day, and someone will say, "Hey, I want to help this guy out because he's a pretty good guy." That didn't probably enter your mind.
No, but I mean, you're exactly right.
Yeah, it really does. And how did you feel when you were coming back? What did you feel that you did help some people, and people really appreciated your efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the drive home, we just talked about how we felt good. We did as much as we could, and it was cool because we were helping out. The company is called Morgan Oil. They're an oil company in Bakersville, sorry, and they provide kerosene to the community. So people use that to heat their houses. So I mean, as winter comes and we're allowing this business to get back up and running, people can start to heat their houses. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, Ian, that's considered they have a house. I mean, a lot of damage was done, and whole houses were just destroyed. But a lot of houses, did FEMA? You said they weren't there when you first visited there. Are they, the federal government, helping people to get things back on track?
I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing. Another part of the reason why I wanted to help out was because I had seen that they were running out of money and they couldn't sustain the needs of everybody down there. So that was another thought. Like, it's just us two, but a little bit can go a long way.
Yeah, there's no question. It just wasn't, the hurricane season in Florida, again, is several months in his existence, and they do damage. I mean, it really, whole cities can be eliminated. And does it make it harder Ayden, when it's in the rural community and you don't have, buildings, right next to each other, and it's kind of in between neighbors, maybe a mile or two?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. When we were doing wellness checks up there in Pensacola, we were with a woman who was working with the Cajun Navy, and she was talking about how it's not just like Florida. Florida is just kind of like a grid. I mean, you can go street by street all the way up. It's pretty much flat and relatively easy to go street by street. But you're in these rural communities, there might be a house here on the hill, down here in the ravine. It's like you're all over the place. And then you've got these curvy roads that are now washed away. You can't get to some of these houses. I mean, even today, they're still getting to people that have no access out of their homes yet. So
They had real difficulty, ascertaining the deaths because, again, they couldn't get to, maybe, again, the road may have been destroyed or such that people couldn't get up. And of course, in the mountainous areas, we think of Ohio being fairly flat, but North Carolina, they have some mountains and some hills, don't they?
There were some major hills. I was a little worried driving some of those windy roads. They were scary.
No question about it. Ian, would you do this again? Would you go and help out and assist people in need?
I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay there longer. So yes, absolutely. And I'd encourage anybody else who has an inclination to do that, go out and do it. A day, 2 days, it doesn't matter. It all helps.
I was, stunned, but not really stunned, but you're appreciative of your response that, it's something that you will always have and always think about. If you hear an article about North Carolina, our church really sponsored work trips to Philadelphia, and they went down to Edison Island, down off the coast of Georgia. And really, the girls really learned a lot about themselves and really others. And how can you thank Ayden enough about telling you about this opportunity? Because I think it would have been tough you going on your own.
Oh, 100%.
It was good to have someone to talk to and to kind of get your day together.
Yeah.
How was he an influence on you?
Well, if he hadn't have been sending me stuff about the hurricane, I probably wouldn't have seen a whole lot about it. And with him getting this idea to go down there, it's an experience that I'll never forget. And you don't know what you're missing until you go out and do it.
I'm sure you were tired at the end of the day, though. Especially shoveling and going from place to place. You probably hit the pillow and we're out like a light.
Yep, we were in bed pretty early every night.
I think we were in bed by like 9 o'clock every night.
So what was your day? When did it start? And tell us maybe a typical. Well, there weren't typical days, but tell us maybe one day.
Honestly, we didn't have any outline of a plan or any idea what we were going to be doing any day. We kind of just rolled with it, because even like when we knew a week in advance that we were going out there or going down there, like things were changing so fast that we couldn't plan a destination, because today they might be in need of something and by tomorrow they're fine. So not until 3 hours out did we know exactly where we were going. And then, we'd wake up in the morning. They had breakfast at the fire station for everybody, grab some food, and then I'd look on Facebook groups of that area where they were asking for volunteers, and then we'd get in the truck and drive there. And then word of mouth was really it. We met people, they told us where to go, and then that's how we figured out what to do. And then finally, after going place to place and asking people, we ended up at the town hall of Bakersville, and they're like, they're shoveling mud out back. And then I was like, okay, let's go. And they had some spare shovels, and we got to work. There
wasn't a lack of things to do. I mean, there were all sorts of things. And you said New York. Were other states? Was people from Michigan and Indiana and those northern states there as well?
Oh, all over. We met people from Florida. There were people from New York. Trying to think, or anybody else I'm missing.
Someone was from Alaska.
Oh wow. Yeah, there was a guy from Alaska.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, all over the place. And people were there some people were there for weeks providing help.
Yeah, it really would, certainly the number of tasks to do and again, talk about the people. What was the reaction of the people where this incident this event doesn't happen all the time down
No.
there. Because again, it was inland and the hilly area. They were probably very surprised.
Oh yeah, nobody was expecting that. Everyone we talked to said when they have family in Florida and a hurricane is coming through, they'll send them up to their house in North Carolina. So nobody thought this was going to happen.
So that was that was a place for them to escape
The
the
safe
damage
haven,
in
yeah.
Florida, and here to find out, as you gentlemen mentioned, 6 states had multiple damage. Any prediction in your estimation how long it will take to have some semblance of order?
Well, it's very organized down there now, but until it gets to, it'll never be the same as it was.
Right.
Like Ayden was saying, power, sometimes over a year, people won't have power. I believe it, maybe even 2-3 years, some of these areas, because the damage is just so immense. It'll take months on months just to clear a path.
Yeah, we hear this about Caribbean islands being hit, and it takes a long time to get back on the grid and people get their power restored. But we don't think so much in North Carolina
Right.
or the continental United States as being that devastated. But are you a science guy? Was climate change
I have
to
no
blame?
idea.
I mean, growing up, we didn't have a lot of nasty weather as we're experiencing in the last couple years here in the United States.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's going to take a long time for these places to get back to normal, and a lot of them will never be back to how they were. I mean, places that we didn't go to that are just off the map now. They don't even exist anymore. Landslides and the weather just took them right out off the map.
Yeah, especially if you're in a hilly area.
Yeah.
We don't think about landslides because
Yeah.
of our topography here in Ohio, but yeah, it really does do a number on houses and did you have any a situation where animals, dogs and cats, you ran into some strays or anything like that?
There were a couple of stray dogs, or I don't know if they were
Right.
stray, but there were a couple dogs on the loose.
Yeah.
But not much wildlife.
Okay.
No.
Right, they probably got the signal and got out of there.
Yeah,
they
maybe.
have the innate abilities that sometimes we don't.
Well, they're having issues sometimes, like because they're getting so many supplies down there, they're not having enough storage inside to put everything inside. They're having issues with wildlife, like even bears getting into foods and stuff that they're storing outside.
Did any managers have any ideas for that to try to get it out quicker
Yeah.
so they would have areas to put things?
Yeah.
I that's good in a way, but in another way, it's really tough to have the bears grab some things.
Yeah, dangerous too, because I mean, those are areas that people are often in, so you don't want an accident happening.
Ian, why don't you sum up your experience? What that's your camera over there. What could you tell people, and maybe young people, if there's something that they could help out down the road? Would you suggest that they put their hat in the ring and get involved?
Absolutely. I think that anybody, again, if you have any idea of what you could do for any event, it doesn't have to be hurricanes. Anything where people need help, go out and do it. It's something you'll never forget. You'll have a good feeling after you've done it. And these people really appreciate it. Everybody is very thankful.
Yeah, what was that feeling? I mean, feeling of accomplishment, something if you didn't go down, things might taken a lot longer to get done?
Yeah, like Ayden was saying with that Morgan Oil Company, what we did, it was just a small piece, clearing the mud out of those basements and inside the house. But if we hadn't have done that, they didn't have the help they needed to hurry things up. So if we hadn't have done that, maybe 2 weeks it would have been for that guy to do that by himself. Who knows?
Yeah, some of the people may have gone to other states to escape. Maybe they had a mother, father, and in a northern state or something and try
Right.
to come back, and they couldn't get back because of the roads and everything. So, yeah, you did really speed up that process and got people ready. And we think of the winter is right around the corner. We're picking up leaves and getting ready. What about your experience? Why did you take the bull by the horns? And again, it seemed like Wadsworth stepped up. The people, the city,
Yeah,
and
100%.
Everyone was with you.
Yeah, everybody was with us, and I can't be more appreciative to the city for giving us a truck and all the people that donated. Every time I walked in the studio that week before we left, there was more stuff, and even I'd sorted everything and I walked back in and there's more stuff. I'd been gone for 5 minutes. But I want to say thank you to everybody that donated supplies and assisted us in any way. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. We got to help people, and yeah, it may have just been a little piece of the puzzle, but in all, it'll all come together.
Ayden and Ean, thank you so much for your experiences and pictures, and I do hope the Wadsworth community is appreciative of our city services and all the things we have here. Thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose. I did a show last week with T. Alexander, and I went down to Uniquely Homemade for You and tested some of her cookies, and they are worth it. Thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.